Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Sarah Elizabeth and I am a graphic designer. I do a lot of work in the music industry and for events. I mainly work on merchandise design, poster design. I do social media content creation on TikTok and Instagram and now YouTube around the topic of graphic design. And so I think that I would like to say I'm qualified enough to give some advice at this point to help some other fellow designers, especially fellow young designers and people just starting out in the industry. So this video is going to be on tips that I think that new graphic designers should know, things that are really important that you don't want to miss when you're first starting out, because I know that I went through these things, I made a lot of mistakes along the way, and I want to offer my advice so that young designers don't have to go through all the same things I had to go through. So this video is going to be very chill, very FaceTime vibe. So if you want to sit back, grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's get into it. So my first piece of advice, if you're just starting out in the industry of graphic design, if you're a young designer, is to do concept work to fill your portfolio. A lot of people, I think, including myself when I first started, and even today, feel pressured to, when you're just starting out, oh, well, you know, how do I get all these clients? How do I get a portfolio? How do I build a portfolio of work when I don't have any clients yet and I'm just starting out? The biggest thing to say is just to make stuff up, make projects up within the niche that you're interested in graphic design. So for me, it was mainly things in the music industry. And so I just made up projects with artists that I love to listen to. And I pretended as if them or their management companies came to me and pitched me some ideas for merch designs or poster designs or album cover designs, vinyl cover designs, whatever it may be, whatever you're interested in, make up work in that world of graphic design and then use that and put it on your portfolio. You don't have to disclose that it's concept work. I would just leave that out. But I think that that's the best way to attract the kind of work you're looking for, because if you're like me and you did some logo designs for friends or family back in the day and, you know, charge $50 a pop, I know, criminal. If you did that and you don't want to be a logo or branding designer like myself, that's not really my expertise, that's not what I'm personally interested in, then that's what I had on my portfolio a lot starting out, but that's not the kind of work that I wanted to attract. That's not what I wanted to do long term. I think fill your portfolio with stuff that's relevant to what you want to do, even if it's fake concept work. That's my biggest tip for portfolio building when you're first starting out. My second tip, if you're new to the industry, is try to create social media accounts. I know this isn't for everyone. I know there's a lot of people out there that are, you know, they're not super into social media. They might be afraid of, you know, privacy on social media. I totally understand. I just created my TikTok last year. So I've had my TikTok account for just a little bit over a year now, and I've gotten some amazing opportunities through my TikTok that I never thought I would have gotten. I've gotten to work with Adobe. I've gotten to work with some amazing dream clients. So it's something that is going to market you as a designer. And in today's age, it's such a saturated market. You know, everybody wants to be in the creative fields, especially graphic design. So I think that the best way to market yourself and the best way to stand out in the industry is to create social media accounts, create a YouTube, create a TikTok, create an Instagram, and try to be as consistent as you possibly can. You know, post your concept work on there, show people what you can do. And that is one of the biggest ways to be able to attract new clients and new business opportunities for yourself. I will say from personal experience, if you ask me what are my favorite social media platforms to grow as a graphic designer on, I would definitely say TikTok would be the number one. As I am filming this right now, TikTok could potentially be banned. That's, you know, I'm not super excited about that, but I would not let that deter you from trying to make a TikTok today, because there's no guarantee that's gonna happen. And everybody's also just talking about use a VPN anyway. So that's a whole other topic of discussion, but I think that TikTok is great with their algorithm. I've had the most success on that platform in the quickest amount of time. I really think they have a more organic platform for creatives. And I would also hop on Instagram, and YouTube is optional because I know YouTube can be very difficult for a lot of people. Filming long, you know, format videos is not for everyone, but I think that spreading yourself out onto as many social media platforms as you can to market yourself is a great idea as a creative and especially as a graphic designer. My third tip is when you are young and you are just starting out, say you just graduated college or you just got out of high school and you're looking to get some of your first jobs in graphic design, and you're going on your interviews and they give you that they're going to give you a project to do or what is called spec work in the industry. My tip is please please do not do this. Do not fall victim to spec work. It is one of my biggest regrets that when I was looking for employment that I did a lot of free work and free graphic design projects for a lot of companies. And unfortunately, it's kind of becoming a growing thing in popularity recently where a lot of companies, not even just ones for graphic design, but especially for the creative fields, want you to do free labor or free work for them and give it over to them to show, what you can do, what you're capable of, even if you already have a portfolio, which I think is very interesting, very suspicious. I will tell you guys from my own personal experience, all the times that I did spec work when applying for places in-house, I never got the jobs. I would make it to like the final interview and then somehow I would never get the job. And somehow I would still see the listing posted online on LinkedIn or on Indeed. I'm not saying it's a scam, but I'm saying it's a scam. And honestly, I do think there's a whole operation going on within a lot of these companies where they're taking advantage of people and they're just constantly getting free work out of people. One of my personal experiences was I was on an interview call, and after we'd already discussed everything, I'd gone over all my experience. We got to the very end of the call and they said, great, now there's gonna be a 3-step interview process, and the next step is you're going to do a project for one of our clients. And I said, what? What do you mean a project for one of your clients? Normally, when companies give out spec work projects in the interview process, it's usually like a fake project. It's like, oh, I'm gonna make up an ice cream shop and you're gonna make a logo for this made up ice cream shop. But this company had the audacity just to tell me on the phone that I was going to have to create work for one of their existing clients. The line I started using towards the end of doing this right before I told people, no, I'm not gonna do it anymore, was, and how much do you pay for that? And that silenced a lot of people because I don't think a lot of them were prepared for that kind of question, which is even more of a red flag. But a lot of them, they don't want to compensate designers. They don't want to pay you for your time, pay you for your work and your skills. So please, if you're a new designer in the industry, steer clear of this. It's a major red flag. You're most likely not going to get the job. It's probably a whole scam operation. You're probably going to get used and discarded, and then they're going to run another round of interviews with new people and get some more work from them. So if you're new in the industry, please do not fall victim to spec work. And my 4th tip and final tip for this video is when you're first starting out, don't feel the pressure to go full freelance right off the bat. Freelancing can be a lot of work. It's very intimidating, very scary. You're your own boss, which is great. But at the same time, you also have the responsibility of, a million positions that you have to handle on your own as your own boss that runs your own company. Communication with clients can be a lot. It could take up a lot of your time, negotiations, signing contracts, meetings, just everything that comes along with the whole entire process that's not even necessarily the design process itself. So freelancing right off the bat when you don't have as many connections is kind of a scary, daunting thing. I wouldn't recommend it. And even myself personally, I graduated in December of 2022 with my graphic design degree. And since then, I've been working in-house for a place that we create merchandise designs, and I just freelance on the side because I really like the, security it gives me, especially the job security. So I think that if you're first starting out, that's something that I would recommend, that if you're trying to dip your toes in the world of freelancing and get your own clients, try working for an agency or working in-house first, and then try freelancing on the side and see how you do. If your client base builds up so much to the point where you feel confident going full-time freelance, then do so. But I would just say don't expect to go full-time freelance. And also it gives you a lot of knowledge in the industry when you're first starting out to work in-house or work under a bunch of other experienced senior designers. It's really helpful, and you can gain a lot of knowledge that you wouldn't be able to get necessarily on your own. And that's everything for this video. If you guys have any more questions or suggestions of what you want to see around the topic of graphic design, please let me know in the comments. I hope you guys learned something. I hope that I could offer some sort of decent advice for newer designers in the industry. I know it can be very daunting. And if you guys want to check out my other channels, I do have a TikTok where I post a lot of tutorials and skits and all kinds of stuff, and some design walkthroughs and things like that. And I also have an Instagram, and everything is linked below if you'd like to check that out. And also subscribe to the channel if you're interested in more graphic design content. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.